Space is the last uncharted territory. How well do our assumptions about the universe hold up? This is one question that has fascinated people for a long time. But now that we have telescopes, satellites, and most recently, uncrewed spacecraft in space, we're just starting to scratch the surface of this problem. The vast majority of the cosmos remains hidden, even after human exploration. There are an estimated 100 billion galaxies in the visible cosmos. The sheer scale of it all is tough to comprehend. Everything seen or measured is considered part of the visible universe, since the nearest star is 1 light-year from Earth. Traveling there would take 2 years at the speed of light. So, the most accessible path can already take up to 2 years of nonstop travel. So imagine the sheer shock NASA scientists have when they see those unidentified spacecraft traveling so quickly through space. The NASA UFO panel is gathering to discuss certain sightings that haven't been classified yet. On Monday, NASA brought together a pioneering team of experts in physics and astrobiology to look at what it calls unidentified aerial phenomena, or UFOs. NASA claims their secret 16-person team will only look at publicly available government and private sector sightings and documents. Although UAPs were seen by military aircraft and evaluated by U.S. defense and intelligence professionals, the team's examination is separate from the recently formed Pentagon inquiry. UFO sightings have been reported since at least the 1940s. Still, after decades of denial, refutation, and discrediting on the part of the United States government, there's been a move toward examining the phenomena via projects at NASA and the Pentagon, in place of the pejorative term UFOs, which has long been linked to notions of alien spacecraft. The government has officially moved to adopt the acronym UAP to refer to unexplained aerial phenomena. NASA said in June, when they first announced the panel's establishment, there's no indication that UAPs originate from other worlds. Since 2004, military observers, mostly from the Navy, have reported more than 140 probable sightings. Pentagon researchers looked into these sightings a year ago and concluded there needed to be more data to determine their true nature. High-ranking military and intelligence officials testified to Congress 5 months ago that the number of reported UAP sightings had climbed to 400, with many of these incidents still being unexplainable by natural phenomena, technology advancements on Earth, or alien origin. UFOs seen on video at the Pentagon seem to be able to move at high speeds and maneuver with surprising dexterity, much beyond the capabilities of any known aircraft. NASA has said that its team would spend the next 9 months establishing its own way of organizing and evaluating sightings before recommending a roadmap of future UAP data processing by the agency. It's anticipated that the first report from the panel will be made available to the public in the middle of 2023. NASA Associate Administrator Thomas Zurbuchen has said, "Understanding the data we have about strange aerial occurrences is crucial to helping us reach scientific conclusions about what is happening in our sky. Data, as the adage goes, is the language of scientists, which permits solving long-term mysteries." The group is headed by David Spergel, a former director of the astrophysics department at Prince University. Ex-NASA astronaut and test pilot Scott Kelly is among this group's members, including biological oceanographer Anamira Berra of the University of Rhode Island, astrophysicist Paula Bontempi of the University of California, San Diego, and astronomer Shelley Wright of the University of California, Los Angeles. Humans now know about space's enormous dimensions. Astronomers have made significant progress in understanding the huge planetary systems that orbit our sun, thanks to observatories like Hubble. Experts in the field have just recently examined around 4% of the visible cosmos. The human eye can see everything in the cosmos, from neighboring stars and galaxies to distant planets and solar systems. And now, there's a way more powerful addition. The James Webb Telescope was launched into orbit on December 25, 2021. Hubble, launched 32 years ago in 1990, is dwarfed by contrast. The James Webb is 6 times larger and 100 times more powerful. Its resolution is far higher than that of Hubble's, and the image released so far shows a vast region of space. Yet the real challenge for scientists is that they are blind to the other 96% of the universe. Scientists have used the term dark matter to describe this area, and only recently have they started to look into what exactly makes up what seems to be a big part of the universe. Did aliens visit the International Space Station? Is there any evidence that UFOs or other alien vessels have been seen near the ISS in real time? Yes, there is. The widespread interest in the extraterrestrial craft that many believe is lurking on Earth was fueled by the release of 3 videos depicting an unidentified aerial phenomenon in April 2020. And also, these unidentified flying objects are included in both the 2004 and 2015 footage. The International Space Station has had several close encounters with other worlds. At the same time, the ISS reported a series of high-speed objects zipping past. A white cylindrical object was seen zipping by at extraordinary speeds. A journalist was the first to report the sightings, and shortly after, a YouTube user with the username Mr. MBB333 uploaded a live video with the caption, "Okay, something is clearly walking the skies on this planet." Even though UFO sightings have been confirmed, the Pentagon recently produced a report implying that alien lifeforms may not exist. Instead, most people think that the mysterious flying objects seen by US intelligence are high-tech gadgets from China or Russia. Unidentified aerial phenomena is a new label given to UFOs by the United States. People in general think that aliens would look and act just like humans, yet a planet's evolutionary process may be very different from Earth's. Evolution could take several unknown pathways. Maybe a highly intelligent and evolved species from the furthest reaches of the cosmos may just appear as a faceless blob. It's a big gamble, but NASA's going after some mysterious airborne phenomenon. The team will need to approach the issue of unidentified flying objects with an open mind and maybe design a framework for future investigations to help identify the nature of these events. If you read between the lines, NASA's decision to make its unidentified aerial phenomena study public may help calm fears that the US government is hiding information about it. The endeavor may nevertheless inspire individuals who are certain UFOs who come from another planet. Someone who is a believer will constantly ask, "But what about the things we don't see?" No matter how much evidence is analyzed, Scully said, the belief in UFOs as extraterrestrial is always a solid truth, just like anything UFO. According to a US intelligence officer, the military is serious about figuring out where UFOs come from. While many UFO sightings remain unexplained, two senior United States military intelligence community officials indicated on Tuesday that the Pentagon is still investigating the phenomenon. The testimony of Ronald Moultrie and Scott Bray before the Intelligence Subcommittee of the House of Representatives was the first congressional hearing on the subject in the United States in half a century. More than 140 UAP sightings by US military aircraft since 2004 were documented in a government report 11 months before this event. The Deputy Director of Naval Intelligence, Bray, asserts that the Pentagon's new task group has logged 400 UAP sightings. Bray said military and intelligence analysts hadn't ruled out the possibility that the object came from another planet. However, both officials were careful when talking about how the task force works. 80% of UAP cases were documented by several methods, according to the 9-page preliminary evaluation report from 2021. The Navy and the ODNI's Intelligence Community Task Force made the decision. The two spokespeople assured the public that the Pentagon would always make decisions based on available information. Moreover, they emphasized the need to address potential dangers to national security. Moultrie, the United States Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence and Security, has said, "We know that our military people have encountered inexplicable aerial occurrences. We are working hard to find out where UAPs come from, because they could threaten air travel and national security." Bray showed a few UAP videos. The triangle-shaped objects seen in the sky in one clip were really artifacts from the user's night vision goggles. The second video showed a mysterious spherical item whizzing by the cockpit glass of military aircraft, which Bray referred to as unexplainable. Film footage from the Pentagon that had been released before showed a variety of UAPs. Some of them moved much faster and more quickly than modern aircraft and had no obvious surfaces for propulsion or flight control. Bray says that both cases and a similar one involving Navy pilots who saw flying tic-tacs are still unresolved. When asked why they couldn't explain all UAP sightings, Bray said, "There are a limited number of circumstances in which we have enough data that our analysis just hasn't been able to sufficiently stitch together a picture of what occurred. Experts must consider the likelihood that a sophisticated plane would use signature management techniques to conceal the fact that it can take off and land successfully." On the other hand, Bray said, "We don't know of any opponent that can fly an aircraft without any evident means of power." According to Moultrie and Bray, the Pentagon is paying pilots to come forward with UFO sighting reports. Will NASA and the Pentagon finally tell us the truth about aliens?